Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ask the Expert. It is yours truly, Lateisha here, your prosperity coach and your host. I'm so excited for this episode. I'm always excited. That's just who I am by nature. But specifically, I'm so excited because I saw this dynamic woman in business just grow and flourish. And I had the opportunity to meet her. She's from my hometown, my area of Philadelphia, and she's a serial entrepreneur. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's just doing it all. And she goes by Belinda Wright Jones, but she's also known as Author B. Jones Wright Jones. And I'm so excited to have you, Belinda. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm always open to share because I know, how it is. And I'm just always open and love to share with others. So thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it.
No problem. And thank
Yes.
you for joining us. I mean, you are everywhere. First of all, before we start talking about all the things that you're doing, let's talk about
Yeah.
how you got started in business and
Okay.
why.
Okay. It's funny you asked this question. I left working a full-time job in 2007. I was stressed out. I was unhappy, just not being appreciated, working, overworking, and it was beginning to take a toll on my health. And I knew that I needed to make a change. So what I did, I set up an exit strategy. I talked to my doctor. I'm like, look, I have to make some changes. This is really making me sick. So I decided to leave my full-time job, and I went actually with a employment agency that immediately got me a position working. I wanted to do part time. So I went with this amazing nonprofit organization working part time in their human resources department as a HR generalist. And that was able to keep me afloat, and I was doing okay. And I was able to just do part time hours. It was working out great. Then a few years later, I believe about 3 years later, I was married. I had got married at the time, and my husband was working two jobs. So I was able to, he knew that I had a vision. I wanted to start a business. And at that point, I left my job. And it's funny though, this story, I don't tell this often, but people need to know how you started.
Yes.
So I left working the part time so that I could fulfill my vision of starting a business. But in the interim, I did some other things, and you would never probably guess it, but I was a Uber and a Lyft driver.
What?
Yes.
I never know.
Yes, I did that, just to make a little extra money and to still work on my vision and my dream. And it worked. It worked for me. And we should never be ashamed of telling our story, because sometimes you have to do some things, and but it kept me at a place where I was still my own boss. I didn't have to get stressed out. I worked when I wanted to, so that worked for me, and it just worked out. And I just kept working on my business, and then doors just started to open. But I'll tell you, it wasn't until I really started believing in myself that
Mm.
I really started doing the work, because I was the type of person, if things started getting hard and it didn't work out the way I wanted to, I stopped. I
Wow.
gave up. But it was something different this time, where my faith just really took me to another place. And it was like God was always, I could hear, keep going, keep going. And I have been going nonstop, and things have just been opening up for me. And it's just been amazing. I'm just so excited and glad that I didn't give up, because a lot of times we fail to mention this is not always an easy run. It's not. It's you have to put in the work. You have to stay consistent. Sometimes things aren't going to go the way you want them to, but that's not the time for you to stop. You got to keep going. You have to keep the faith, and you have to keep your eye on the prize and stay focused. Stop looking at what everybody else is doing. Stay focused on your vision and just believe in yourself. It's necessary.
Oh my goodness, Belinda.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I have so many questions based off of that. First and foremost,
Yes.
thank you for being so transparent. And you are
Mhm.
so right. You have to put the blinders on. And I want to
Yes.
dive a little bit more deeper into your
Yes.
entrepreneurial journey because at this show, our audience are both aspiring
Okay.
entrepreneurs or those just startups. And then there's also
Okay.
those women in business that they've been around for a while, but sometimes you can plateau or get comfortable.
Yeah.
So let's
Yes.
dive into some of the things that you said, just your entrepreneurial journey. You mentioned how you basically had to do what you had to do while you were
Mhm.
building. Can we
Yes.
talk about that? Because that's not
Yes.
really a conversation that we talk about in business. It sounds like you take the leap and everything's just, rainbows and butterflies.
Exactly.
So let's talk
Exactly.
about that.
Yep. Yes. People need to hear the real behind the scenes stuff. People need to hear the struggles. People need to hear the stuff that we were uncomfortable sometimes doing, but we had to do it, and to make things happen. So yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk
Yes.
about it.
So I have
You,
some
yeah.
questions for you. So for
Hmm.
the new entrepreneur or the solopreneur or business owner, specifically
Hmm.
solopreneurs, what are some common
Okay.
mistakes or some myths that you feel like needs to be demystified to help the solopreneur or the newbie who's jumping into business and they really aren't sure where to
Hmm.
begin or they're having challenges when it comes to
Okay.
keep going and keep pushing through? What are some of those
Okay.
um, common mistakes and some myths
Hmm.
that needs to be
Okay.
demystified?
Okay. Some of the common mistakes, the first thing I want to hit on as a solopreneur, you got to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself. That's so important. I know when I first started out, actually, my first business was event planning and catering. That was my very first baby. But one thing that I know for sure, you have to protect yourself. A lot of people are just what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry, give me 1 second. It slipped my mind. Anyway, get you an LLC.
Mm,
You want to make sure that you are protected. You want to make sure that your personal assets and your business is separated. Don't try to commingle everything together. Get protected. Get the insurance that you need. Um, Ask questions. Sometimes, you have to get a mentor or a coach. It's important. That's necessary. Now, for myself, in the beginning, I did not have a coach, but that didn't stop me. I had resources. I went through the Small Business Administration,
mm,
asked questions. But then when I was able to, meaning financially, to get a coach, that was the first thing that I did. And sometimes you need more than one coach. Actually, I think I had two or three at one time. Um, but it's so necessary to make sure that you get connected with people where you see that you want to be, that can help you to get there. Protect yourself. Make sure that you get maybe an LLC. If you have partners, set up a corporation. But that is very important. Trying to think.
I mean, that right there sums up a lot of
Yeah,
challenges, especially for the
yeah.
solopreneur, because I can only speak for myself, and I think you would agree. You get excited because you
Hmm.
have this vision or this dream, or like you mentioned, you were so
Hmm.
disgusted with how you were treated in corporate America, and that's my
Yeah.
story too. So you just jump out there
Yeah.
and you're not thinking about how to make sure you're protected and how to
Right.
go about it the right way. So that's what I see a lot when it comes.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank
Yes.
you for
You
reminding
have
us
to.
of that. Thank you.
Yes.
The other
Mm-hmm.
thing I wanted to point out that you mentioned towards the beginning of the program is that is your faith. I
Mm.
have seen how strong you are, and you're not one of those people where you push your faith on anything or anybody.
Right.
But I've
Right.
seen how your faith has played a role in your transformation and your success. Can you talk about that and how you've been able
Yes.
to manage to be strong in your faith even when things were difficult?
Yes. My life has had so many ups and downs, heartbreaks, disappointments. Um, as you know, last year I did go through a divorce last year. And at the time, I just thought, this is it. What else is there? I guess I went through a pity party. But then I looked at life and I said, you know what? This is not the end. And you know what? That's why it's so important to keep our minds renewed and to speak life over ourselves. Because if we don't catch ourselves, we can fall into a downward spiral. We can begin to feel sorry for ourselves. But it's so important to always keep an attitude of gratitude. And I believe that's what kept me at a place where I was able to come back. Um, I'm always grateful because I know that there are people that are in situations that are so much worse than mine's. Um, I'm just thankful to wake up to see another day, to have movement of my limbs, in my right mind. These things keep me in the right frame of mind. I think it's when we become ungrateful, when we become jealous, when we become envious of other people, it puts us in a place where that's when you have the bad attitudes. You're unable to congratulate other people. It's all about an attitude. You have to keep a right attitude, stay grateful, stay in prayer, speak life over yourself. I have every day I speak affirmations over my life. And it's so funny. I Even before I started getting speaking engagements and things like that, I was saying that I was um, inspirational and transformational speaker. I was speaking these things, and I was not getting invitations anywhere or anything, but I was doing lives on Facebook and I was still speaking it over my life. I am a transformational and inspirational speaker. I will be speaking globally, and I just kept speaking these things. And I don't want to go too far before we get there, but things begin to change in my life. But my prayer life is just wonderful. I have grown so much. Oh my God, the growth. And I believe that's because I'm honest with God about myself. When I see stuff that I may not necessarily like, I don't try to cover it up. I'm honest about it. God, what is going on? I see something here I don't like. Help me with this. So I'm very transparent with God. I'm very open about things. And that has caused me really to grow and to transform because I don't try to hide stuff. Because how can we try to hide stuff from an all knowing God, right?
Come
So,
on. Tell me about it.
so, I mean, just be honest. That's the thing. Just be honest. And that will keep you growing. Just be honest. When you see things that you don't necessarily like, address it. God, help me with this. I don't like this. And that will allow you an opportunity. God, He can come in and He can work on it. He can work on it. So That's my advice. Be honest. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Thank you for, and speaking of honesty, I appreciate your
Yes.
transparency thus far. And ladies,
Thank
I really hope that you were just taking note, not just about what she said, but even about how she's going about it. And you can feel
you.
it, and she's being honest, she's being transparent. Like,
Amen.
I really hope you're taking notes and you're paying attention to a lot
Amen.
that's being said and how she's expressing it. So, in
Yeah.
speaking of transformation and growth, I
Yes.
personally, over the past year, I mean, you've been doing a number of things for some time, but
Yeah.
just over the past year, because I've gotten to get to know you over the past year or
Amen.
two, I've literally
Hmm.
seen this change and this growth. Oh my goodness. So over the past
Thank you.
year, I've managed to see you go from how you spoke it into existence to actually
Hmm.
making it a reality. So
Yes.
please enlighten us on how we can go from 0 to 100 real quick. So tell us about, how you managed to get those speaking opportunities and how you're, I mean, international stages. Please tell us how you managed
Yeah.
to do that in just 1 year during the most challenging time for most
Yes.
of us in our lifetime. You have to
Yes. I'm
enlighten us.
telling you. It's only God, but I'm so grateful for it. I saw an opportunity came up for Women on Fire, and this was just January. Women on Fire global conference, and I said, "Wow!" It popped up on my screen. I was on Facebook, and I said, "Wow, I want to do this." And I prayed about it, and I said, "You know what? This is what I've been praying for. I'm going to go for it." And there was an investment, and I made the investment, and that was my very first global speaking engagement. It was amazing. After that, things just began to just change. Um, I know you're familiar with Black CEO.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
After after I spoke for the Woman on Fire conference, Black CEO reached out to me.
Wow.
Me. I'm like, what? And they sent me an email. They said, we saw you on A Woman on Fire. We liked your professionalism. We have a conference coming up, Black and Iconic. We would love for you to be a part of it. And I'm like, it was just, I was just overwhelmed. I was excited, and I accepted, and things just began to happen after that. They Black CEO had a woman, ER Spalding. She deals works with them a lot. She had a conference just last month. Invited me to speak with that. Um, then after that, I just got an email last week.
Wow.
Black black head what is it? Black headliners something. I can't. I'm sorry,
It's
but it's
okay.
called Black Headliners. They reached out to me. Trevor Ott, he's also involved with that. They signed me up for that. They guarantee you these speaking engagements throughout the year. Now I'm involved with that. I mean, things are really rolling, and it's all because I stay prayed up about everything.
Hmm.
I stop listening to the negative commentary of other people. I stop letting my past failures and mistakes to keep me stuck. And I'm just enjoying the ride. I'm just thanking God for these opportunities. But I'm going to tell you, it's so important to network. It's so important to collaborate because that opens up other doors,
Hmm.
and just being open, and just being honest about what you want from life. I'm speaking some things now that are blowing my mind, but I'm like, okay, Lord, I'm just going to enjoy this ride, and things are just happening. Things are just happening. So you gotta believe in yourself. Get out of your own way. Sometimes we get in our own way. We
Yes.
really do. But it's when we believe in ourselves, we take those risks, and we stop worrying about what other people are saying, and just believe in ourselves. Things begin to happen.
Oh
Yeah,
my goodness, it's
yeah,
so true.
yeah,
Oh, and I have to make sure that I highlight this. Now, ladies, I really hope that you heard what she just said, because she just gave you the
yeah,
recipe for success, especially if
yeah.
you're looking to get more exposure in your business or speaking engagements. She mentioned,
Yes,
because I'm here taking notes, buddy. Listen, she
yes,
mentioned, first of all, she said, be
yes,
confident in yourself. Be confident in
yes,
yourself. She also mentioned to speak what you want into existence. So affirmations. She also mentioned collaborations and networking. Not just
yes,
networking, but collaborating as well. So
yes,
Belinda, I mean, you
yes.
are just at a wealth of knowledge, and I am so proud of you. I am
Thank
honored
you.
and blessed to have you in my circle. One of the things
Thank
that
you.
I love as well about you, not only
Mhm.
are you transparent and honest about who you are, but you're also supportive. So I want to, before we come to a close, talk about how we
Yes.
can support you. So what's next for you? Where can we find you, and how can we support you and all that you're doing?
Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I am in the midst of relaunching my online university. Um, I will be having workshops on there, classes. I'm excited about that. So that's going to be relaunched if within the next week. I'm working on another book that's going to be coming out in about the next month or so. So I'm excited about that. Um, I have some other speaking engagements that's going to be coming up soon. It's just a lot. I'm just excited. Um, People can connect with me on several different platforms. I'm on Facebook under B Wright. That's BWRIGHT Jones. I'm on Twitter under Keep Looking Up with two P's, and Instagram Keep Looking Up and the number 7. My website is B Wright Jones, and I'm just here to serve. I serve women 35 and older, who are stuck, who desire to get unstuck. I am an online life coach, um, and I just love to serve women, to help them so that they can see the greatness within themselves, so that they know that they do have a purpose, that God, has something amazing for all of us. But we just have to get on board. We are co creators with God, and we just have to get in alignment. We just have to believe in ourselves and just know the sky is not the limit. When we have God first in our lives, He can do some amazing things in our lives if we just surrender and just open ourselves up to His will. Yes,
Amen. Yes, ma'am.
yes,
Oh my goodness. I'll be sure to make sure all your information
yes.
is in the show notes. Ladies,
Okay.
make sure that you just listen to the replay again, review your notes, and take a look at her website and all of the events she has coming up. Her books,
Yeah.
I've read her Get Unstuck book. I mean, she has a lot of different resources that's available. I'm a personal fan as well. So I can attest
Thank you.
that Belinda knows what she's talking about, and she exactly what you see how authentic she is. She's going to give you the real. She doesn't create fluff. She doesn't do all that fanfare stuff. You're going to get sound
Yeah.
information that actually work, and she's going to be transparent about her journey, and it'll help you. So thank you so
Thank
much, Belinda, for being on the show. I am
thank
so
you.
appreciative, and I'll make sure that all the information is on the show notes. Is there any last words before we part today?
Um, no matter what it looks like, I always say this, no matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, we have to stay in faith. Faith is key. We have to walk by faith and not by sight. Sometimes things get shaky in business. But I mean, just like Lateisha said, during a major pandemic, how God has just done some amazing things in my life. And in less than a year. And I'm like, anything can happen. So keep the faith. Don't be discouraged and never give up. Keep going, because when you keep going, things are going to eventually change. Don't stop. That's what I did years ago. I used to stop when it got hard. Don't stop. Keep going, because things are going to turn around. I wish you the best and all the success in life. Keep looking up.
Thank you so much, Belinda,
Yes.
author B.
Yes.
Wright Jones, everyone. And thank you so much for joining us for this
Yes.
episode of Ask the Expert. I'll see you next time. Make sure you don't just listen to what was said, but you apply what was said. I'll see you next time. Bye.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.